Only 45 minutes left, Archangel Michael says. I have been waiting for 2 hours to tell you this. This is not a joke. There will be massive changes in your life. Open it immediately. The room around you is suddenly heavier, like the air has been holding its breath for too long. A clock you were not listening to starts pulsing inside your ribs with stubborn insistence. A line of meaning brightens in front of you, as if the day itself has been waiting for your arrival. The last 2 hours have been circling your name like a hawk over a field of hidden gold. A sealed message pressed its warmth against your palms even when your hands felt empty. The current of destiny moved furniture inside your life while you were looking at the door. You feel the edge of something vast as it leans closer and calls you by your first voice. The world glints like a drawn sword, but it is not here to frighten you. It is here to cut away what was never yours. Archangel Michael says this moment is exact, measured, and prepared like a key for one lock. This is not a joke, and your heart knows it the way a shoreline knows the moon. You have stood outside many thresholds, but this one recognizes your footsteps. It swings open without a creak, and the light behind it does not blink. 333 Your name is written on a page that did not exist yesterday morning. Ink that refuses to fade has traced a new itinerary across your days and nights. Even the quiet objects on your table seem to be listening for the next instruction. A message has crossed a distance no airplane can measure and landed inside your chest. It says there will be massive changes and that resistance is already late to the doorway. It says the old map is crumpling itself without your effort and placing a new one in your pocket. You learn to carry both grief and hope without spilling either, and that strength is now being noticed. The unseen has kept the receipts of every hour you stayed when it would have been easier to leave. Today those receipts become a signature on a transfer of power with your initials in bright ink. The bell is ringing in a tower you cannot see. And its sound refuses to be ignored. You feel the ring pass through your lungs and settle behind your heartbeat like a second metronome. You are being moved from waiting to receiving with a clarity that forgives nothing false. For 44 you once thought destiny was a river that only flowed for other people. Now it stands in your doorway like rain that has remembered your roof. You can smell the first clean minutes of a storm that will wash everything weary. Your steps are guided into a room where the future is already sitting at the table. It places a cup in front of you, and the steam forms your initials. You take the first sip, and all the parts of your story look up and nod. This hour is not merely counting down. It is counting up your readiness. It has measured how your spine still stands when your knees tremble, and knows the difference between fear and the electricity of arrival. Archangel Michael says your name is a password, and the door recognizes it from the inside. Your breath is the code, and you have been practicing it each dawn without knowing. You step forward, and the threshold behaves like an old friend who has missed you. 555 The pages that once refused to turn are gliding under your fingertips. You discover that your patience has accrued interest like a quiet fortune. Interest becomes momentum, and momentum becomes the wind behind your back. You are removing keys from places that used to hide them. You are finding letters that were never delivered until now. Every envelope is addressed to the courage you have been rehearsing. A phone inside your spirit lights up with a name you thought you would never see again. It brings clarity, not confusion, and a truth that fits without adjustment. It releases you from the long hallway where the lights were too far apart. the hour has edges that shine like water at noon, and you are no longer afraid of brightness. You are willing to be seen in the clean light of your becoming. You are willing to let the day call you home by your most accurate name. 666 Your steps are guided to a window that opens to a field where harvest has matured. The field is not noisy because abundance does not have to shout. It stands brimming under a sky that has stopped apologizing for its blue. You have a letter from the future folded in your pocket, and it unfolds on its own. It shows the version of you who already finished the race. They reach back through time and place a medal in your hand while you are still running. All the times you were underestimated have formed a circle of witnesses. They are present now as you rise to the measure you always carried. They fall quiet because they recognize the sound of truth when it enters a room. The path you feared would narrow has widened to welcome your stride. The stones move themselves into a mosaic that remembers your footprints. You walk without apology and the air parts for you like silk. 777 Clocks cannot bully you because you have learned the deeper time that lives under seconds. That deeper time has been at your shoulder, steady as a lighthouse that never goes out. It signals to your ribs and your breath adjusts like sails to a reliable wind. People who doubted you are remembering errands elsewhere. Your presence makes them set down what never belonged to them. They feel the shift and the room reorganizes its furniture for your arrival. The door that refused you last year has grown a second hinge. You touch it with 2 fingers and it understands your language. It opens with a gratitude you did not expect from wood and iron. Archangel Michael says the delay has finished its assignment and is excused. Wade steps aside with respectful silence. Lane ahead brightens as if the sun has chosen you as a waypoint. 888 You pick up a pen and your name leaves a golden trail on the paper. The ink dries instantly because hesitation has no authority here. Every letter you write is a small bridge to a larger river. The news you needed enters by a door you locked out of habit. It does not break the lock, it simply walks through because you invited it in your sleep. A welcome mat remembers your hope and fluffs itself with pride. A conversation begins that you were meant to have years ago. It arrives without accusation and carries a clean verdict. You are released from what you tried to carry for everyone. The mirror recognizes your face with new respect. It sees the miles you have walked and the mountains you have forgiven. It does not flinch when your joy grows taller. 999 There is a package with your name and nobody else's fingerprints on it. You open the ribbon with the calm certainty of a person who has stopped apologizing. Inside is proof that your life is moving to a higher floor with a wider view. You feel the elevator rise without any lurch. It moves like a promise that knows it can keep itself. The numbers blink upward and your chest matches the rhythm. The skyline of your possibilities redraws itself while you blink. New windows, new roofs, new lines of power and mercy. You feel taller inside your bones without standing on your toes. You are being escorted by timing that has impeccable manners. It does not rush or drag you, it simply fits. Your day shakes hands with your destiny and both are impressed. 111 You recall every night you lifted your head when the room felt too heavy. You recall every morning you got out of bed when your heart felt stitched to the mattress. Those moments rise now like soldiers who salute as you pass. The world around you senses the change and begins to behave. Traffic lights notice your footsteps and cooperate. Doors do not bang, they slide open with a hush that respects you. Emails that never helped are deleting themselves from your spirit. Calls you do not need are forgetting your number. Space returns to your calendar like rain to a dry field, your shoulders unclench and the sky takes a deeper breath. Relief is not temporary, it is the new climate. You step into the day and the day steps into you. 222 Your house of courage adds a new room with large windows. The view reaches into a future that looks back and smiles. You realize the staircase ahead is built out of verbs, not nouns. This is not a small update, it is a migration to a new operating system. The little spinning wheel of waiting disappears from your horizon. Processes that used to freeze now flow in quiet efficiency. You are remembering promises you made to yourself when you were still small. They sit on the porch with their feet swinging, eager to be invited in. You open the door and every promise brings a lantern. There is no drama in this acceptance, only authority. Your yes does not tremble, it rings like crystal that has discovered its note. The world hears that ring and aligns its instruments. 333 The hour is advancing, but it is not chasing you, it is escorting you. It walks a step to your right like a guardian who knows every turn. Its hand does not push, it steadies. Your name is being entered into rooms you have not reached yet. Conversations you once begged for are inviting themselves to your table. You choose your seat without apology and the chair fits. A bank of blessings has been waiting for your signature. You pick up the pen and the ink glows for a second like a live coal. That glow does not burn you, it recognizes you. Grace is not an accident that stumbled into your life. It is a well-made plan arriving on time with luggage and reservations. You greet it like a dear relative at the gate. 444 You walk through a corridor of photographs that show your survival. Each frame shines with the stubborn light of a person who stayed true. You touch the glass and the image is warm as if alive. Words that once bruised you find no entry now. They hit the new shield around your spirit and fall like dull leaves. You do not even need to kick them aside because the wind volunteers. An old doorbell rings and you smile without getting up. You know which visitors can't cross this threshold anymore. Luck agrees and remains at ease. You are not sprinting, you are striding. Your pace is honest and honest pace finishes every race. The ground seems to lean toward your feet and help. 555 A letter arrives that changes the temperature of the room. Its paper smells like rain on a road you loved as a child. You open it and your eyes understand before your mind translates. It is confirmation with your name embossed. It is clearance stamped with a seal that cannot be forged. It is permission granted by the one authority that matters. The S does not chatter. It settles into the furnishings. Chairs sit deeper, lamps glow warmer, and even your shoes fit better. You exhale and the house exhales with you. You feel a lift as if the floor is becoming a river that floats you forward. The river is calm and very sure of itself. You trust it because you recognize its current from old dreams. 666 People who belong to your next chapter will hear your footsteps like music. They will find you without you waving your arms. They will sit down and speak in the dialect of destiny. The doors you will not need will misplace their hinges and become background walls. They will not tempt you because you no longer hunger for crumbs. Your hands are trained for harvest, not for begging. The room in your heart that had the lights off is bright again. You can see the furniture and arrange it for guests you actually want. You smile because the arrangement finally makes sense. The future you feared is not arriving. The future you built is here, and it knows the way around your house. It hands its coat, washes its hands, and starts cooking. 777 You remember a name that used to sting, and it no longer does. You remember a place that used to ache, and it is quiet now. You remember a time that used to shake you, and your hands are steady. Strength has become your native language. You do not translate every feeling into panic anymore. You translate it into posture, breath, and accurate words. Your reflection is not asking for permission to be proud. It stands with a calm spine and a soft face. It trusts both the softness and the spine. The wind shifts and carries the scent of beginnings. The horizon adds a silver edge that does not fade. I wadorananvan I wadadore you. 888 Paperwork gets signed in places you cannot see yet. Files open with your credentials even when you are asleep. The stamp lands with a sound like a door unlocking. A call arrives with answers that stand without wobbling. You hear a leaf step into your ribs and sit down for the first time in years. Ajrat Chuthus is called certainty. You are not lost. You are located. The map you need has highlighted the path in a color you cannot miss. You move with a confidence that does not need noise. Archangel Michael says the ceiling you hit was a misunderstanding. The real sky is higher and kinder. You adjust your gaze and the height adjusts with you. 999 You have outgrown the rooms where apologies were furniture. You are building rooms where gratitude is the architecture. The blueprint fits your hands like an instrument you were born to play. This chapter does not depend on luck. It depends on the long patience you practiced even when nobody thanked you. Now patience steps forward and introduces you to her older sister called fulfillment. The clock on the wall has stopped threatening you. It ticks like a friendly metronome guiding a song you actually like. You move in time with it, easy and exact. Massive changes are not an avalanche meant to bury you. They are an elevator meant to lift you. You step in and the door is closed with a soft promise. 111 You are guided to say yes to what is aligned and no to what is noise. Your no is gentle and it is final. Your yes is strong and it is generous. Former shadows lose their choreography. They cannot perform the old dances on this new floor. They bow without applause and exit the stage. Your inner weather is stabilizing like a sky after good rain. Clouds turn to light and the light stays. You recognize yourself in the reflection on the puddles and feel tender toward your journey. The room you enter already knows your measurements. It does not need you to shrink, it expands to meet your true size. 222 What tried to delay you has spent its last coin. It looks at you and knows the game is done. It backs away with surprising respect. An envelope label now slides under your door. Inside are instructions that are both simple and powerful. You follow them and find they were written in your handwriting. Your spirit has new shoes that do not blister. They carry you across rooms that used to intimidate you. Those rooms now feel like halls of belonging. You stand where you once asked permission to stand. You breathe where you once held your breath until your chest hurt. You claim what you once circled without landing. 333 A letter of relief travels through your muscles. It signs peace treaties with places that have been tense. your shoulders agree to stop pretending they are stone. Joy does not shout. It glows now from the precise center of you. It spills into the quarters and finds dust that needed light. This glow's not expensive, it is inevitable. It is the return on investment for every honest yes. It is the quiet thunder that precedes rainfall in a thirsty land. The story you tell yourself about yourself has matured. It chooses truth over drama every time. It finds its balance and keeps it. 444 You do not compete with anyone on this new road. There is space for your exact shape and speed. The lane was measured for you before you were ready to walk it. People who arrive now bring tools, not gossip. They help you build instead of narrate your effort. They respect the blueprint and bring their own pencils. A new contact appears that honors your boundaries. Its clauses are simple and the font is large. You sign it with a pen that never stutters. The echo inside your house pronounces your name without fear. Sound travels cleanly through the rooms and rests. Even the silence feels intelligent. 555 Your sleep begins to do real work again. It repairs instead of rehearsing disaster. You wake up with energy that does not betray you at noon. Old alarms that used to trigger without cause are retiring. They hand in their badges and wish you well. You thank them and gently escort them to the door. New rhythms learn your body and respect it. They hum in keys that fit your bones. They keep time without stealing it. You do not chase signs anymore because the signs are walking beside you. They keep pace like loyal friends. They know the way and they like your company. 666 You have touched the moment the message became a doorway. It welcomed you with a light that refused to sting your eyes. You understood that courage is simply truth spoken at the right volume. The hand on your shoulder is not pressure. It is guidance. It points gently and you feel your feet understanding the instruction. The path agrees and straightens its spine for you. You are allowed to be this blessed. You are allowed to be this ready. You are allowed to be this calm in the center of good change. Archangel Michael says, let this hour complete its promise without interruption. Your task is consent and presence. The promise knows how to do the rest. 777 The ground beneath you is finished shifting. It has decided to carry you instead of testing you. You move forward like a river that has found the ocean. Your name feels new and familiar at the same time. You can taste the syllables and they taste like home. You say it aloud and the room smiles. Messages that miss you are catching up with a respectful rush. They line up, each carrying a small, precise gift. You receive them without guilt and arrange them in bright rows. This is the moment the 2-hour wait becomes a 4 to 5 minute surge. It is the hand from endurance to acceleration. You accept the baton and your stride finds its music. 888 The announcement that changes everything has already left the building. It is in transit to your doorstep with a guaranteed delivery. The courier is called divine timing and it never loses a package. Your life is not a lottery ticket. It is an orchard. Trees you planted in tears are now heavy with fruit. Branches bend toward your hands with generosity that feels like justice. You take what is yours with humility that does not shrink. You bless what remains for others with a heart that does not hoard. You know there is enough because you have seen the storehouse. The message that began with urgency closes with tenderness. it wraps around your shoulders like a warm shawl. It smells like a new beginning that intends to stay. 999. Only 4 to 5 minutes remain in the old schedule, and that is enough. You are not late. You are exactly on time for your own life. The next steps have already been set like stones across a shining river. You open what was meant for you and it opens you back. The exchange is perfect and without strain. The path says welcome and you believe it. This is not a joke. It is a precise invitation. Massive changes are not coming to break you but to reveal you. You turn the handle and the new room bows in respect. You step in with a steady heart and a lifted chin. You feel the blessing follow you like a candle that never gutters. You close the door gently on the old and the light and not dim. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $1.20. The corridor ahead keeps unfolding like ribbon in steady hands. Walls that once felt close have eased back as if they remembered your true withstand. You walk and the air learns your rhythm like a song it has been waiting to hum. A soft gravity gathers around your choices and turns them into rivers. Each river remembers the mountain it came from and the ocean it is returning to. Your decisions stop shaking because they finally recognize home. You feel the ground lifting you with the quiet authority of trust. It is not dramatic. It is definite. And the definiteness is a kindness. Everything that used to wobble in you finds its stance and holds. The sky puts its hand on your crown and smooths the last of the static. Calm wears you well and the mirror nods its agreement. You breathe from deeper soil and the day grows taller. 111. There is a ledger in the unseen that has moved your account from pending to cleared. A word cleared settles in your bones like afternoon light on a kitchen floor. You stand in it and understand that relief can be honest and lasting. Doors you never knew existed are unlocking with a hush that feels ceremonial. Some swing inward and some slide sideways, and each opening suits the room it guards. You do not flinch because your name is on every key. You notice how silence now amplifies what loves you. The quiet does not accuse. It accompanies. It matches your stride and keeps the pace gentle. The world sends you signals that are easy to receive. Green lights bloom at intersections you used to dread. You pass through with steadiness that has learned to smile. 222 memories arrive with new endings stitched by understanding. You watch scenes that once bruised you soften and return their oxygen. Your chest accepts the air and refuses to apologize for healing. All the way back to the first time you said yes to yourself, a line of light connects. That line is unbroken and it travels forward like a promise that knows the way. You touch it and it brightens because you have always been its reason. The season of waiting no longer has work in your house. It packs its suitcase, folds the old calendar, and leaves your spare room clean. You thank it for what it taught you and lock the door behind it with love. Your future sits across from you and places its hand over yours. The warmth is not imagined. It is immediate. It flows into your tendons and teaches them a new strength. 333 names that belong to fear lose their credentials. They cannot badge into your hours anymore because your spirit updated the security system. Only what serves your wholeness carries access now. Momentum becomes a companion with elegant matters. It does not shove. It offers its arm, and you accept without shrinking. Together you enter rooms that honor your arrival with relief. You taste the sweetness of a path that fits your true stride. This labor is honest, not childish, and it feeds rather than distracts. Your hunger becomes wisdom, and your wisdom becomes movement. The old script hands you the pen because it knows the right is overdue. You write without trembling, and the page keeps up. Lines land with the precision of someone who finally trusts their own voice. 444 You are escorted by timing that reads the clock behind the clock. It is the schedule that weather respects and seasons obey. You feel its pulse in your wrists, and it steadies your reach. Inside your chest, a small lamp that never surrendered is turned up to full. It lights the corner where doubt used to keep a chair. A chair is removed, and the corner becomes a window. You notice how your presence changes the air in every room. People breathe easier, and the furniture relaxes. Even the windows reflect you without distortion. There is a letter waiting at the threshold from a day you have not met. It is addressed in your truest handwriting. It says welcome with a certainty that releases your last hesitation. 555 Your boundaries have learned to be beautiful. They do not slam, they frame, and everything framed can be cherished. You become the curator of your own museum, and the exhibits shine. A reunion with your courage takes place in the softest light. Courage does not roar. It sits with you and refuses to leave. You lean against it, and your back finally rests. The clock on the wall is no longer a judge. It is a kind witness that reminds you of your own cadence. You match it and discover there is more than enough. You feel provision arriving without sirens. It comes like rain that knows the difference between flood and nourishment. Your life drinks and grows in ways that make sense. 666 There is music in your name that has just been tuned. The tuning fork vibrates through your ribs and aligns the dissonant notes. Harmony enters like a guest of honor and stays for the celebration. You greet this harmony with hands that have learned to open. Open hands are not empty, they are ready. Readiness becomes a bridge that holds your full weight. The view from your new altitude shows why the old path twisted. You bless the switch acts because they trained your breath. Now the summit is not an emergency, it is an egress. A new kindness chooses your voice as a home. It speaks through you to yourself first and then to others. Everything it says fits like a well-made coat. 777 The messages that once arrived late now arrive precisely on time. You step forward to meet them and they step forward to meet you. The handshake in the middle is a vow without words. You begin to move like someone who trusts the ground. Each step lands with the soft authority of belonging. Belonging multiplies in your muscles and your face learns to rest. Your calendar fills with appointments that honor your future. None of them require you to abandon yourself. Instead, they return pieces you thought were lost. The season of low ceilings has ended and the room breathes taller. You notice corners that were never visible before. Light collects there and invites new ideas to stretch. 888 Old narratives try one last time to audition for a role in your story. They do not make the cut because your casting call has matured. Only truth, tenderness, and power receive a callback. You are fluent in your own boundaries and generous in your yes. Generosity flows best when the cup is not cracked. Your cup is whole and it pours without fear of leaking. The horizon sends you a signal that is both subtle and sure. It is the silver edge that guided sailors long before maps. You recognize it because your spirit learned its language in the dark. You take inventory and discover that nothing essential is missing. What is gone was only the noise around the gift. The gift remains intact and brighter. 999 The ground ahead is shaped like an invitation and curves toward your feet with welcome. You step onto it and it responds like memory. Support meets you at the exact angle of your need. It is not charity, it is alignment. Alignment erases strain that never belonged to you. A soft wind carries names of people who belong to your next chapter. Those names arrive without confusion. They bring tools, not drama, and they fit the work. You are seen with clarity that does not glare. This clarity is tender on your skin. It makes room for your whole self to be present. 111 You return to your breath and find it unafraid. No shallow corners, no hurried edges. Only depth. Depth loves you enough to stay. Rooms that used to require performance now ask for honesty. Honesty takes less energy and gives more life. You choose it like sun and it chooses you back. Your steps have learned loyalty to your own path. Loyalty stops you from abandoning yourself to pleased noise. Noise fades when loyalty speaks softly and stands. A final wake rolls off the hinge of your heart. You listen to the quiet it leaves behind. The quiet is generous and full of good news. 222 blessings queue at your door with patience and precision. They hold numbered tickets and laugh with each other. You open and the first 10 enter as if they always lived here. You recognize one as the restoration of your daily joy. Another is the mending of trust where it once frayed. A third holds steadiness that turns small efforts into lasting results. The fourth blessing is courage that knows how to be gentle. Gentle courage is the kind that lasts. It does not spark and vanish. It warms and remains. Your table expands without creaking. Chairs appear for every honest hunger. A one scrapes for crumbs because the loaf is whole. 333 Gratitude finds you with both hands extended. You take what it offers and discover more hands than you knew. You realize you were built for this capacity. Your laughter returns without apology. It rings like glass that remembers music. Rooms brighten when it arrives and stay bright after it leaves. The word ease joins your vocabulary without shame. Ease does not mean laziness, it means fit. Your life begins to move in ways that fit. What used to be complicated becomes clear like a window after rain. You see through to the next right thing without strain. You do it and peace follows like a loyal friend. 444 The river of timing carries you around rocks that once bruised your ankles. It has learned your shape and respects it. You float without fear because the current is kind. A letter of acceptance arrives from a place that matters. It is stamped and signed in ink that does not fade. You hold it and the room changes temperature. The landscape of your responsibility simplifies. Important rises to the top and urgent stops pretending to be a tyrant. You pour yourself where it counts and everything else survives without your rescuing. A blessing in the shape of steady income takes its seat. It does not sweater, it confirms. You breathe and the numbers uncoil their tension. 555 There is a ceremonial closing of doors that no longer serve you. You attend the closing with respect and peace. Nothing slams, everything concludes. New tools appear on your workbench as if delivered by a wise neighbor. They are the exact sizes you needed. You put them to use and the work becomes a joy. The mornings open like soft gates and invite you through. Evenings know how to bless your rest. Nights learn to repair what the day stretched. You accept that being chosen also means choosing. You choose what loves you back with actions, not slogans. Your life answers and the echo is beautiful. 666 An invisible choir hums your name as you move ahead. Their harmony keeps your courage at the right temperature. Nothing overheats and nothing chills. Your memory reorganizes itself around wisdom instead of pain. Lessons remain but the sting is gone. Only the usefulness stays bright and precise. People who speak your language of growth find you without shouting. You hear them and your shoulders lower. Conversation becomes nourishment again. The last of the counterfeit urgency dissolves. True urgency is simply accuracy in motion. Accuracy is now your native pace. 777 You begin to see the architecture of kindness in places you once overlooked. It lives in small routines that never sought applause. They become anchors that hold even when the water rises. Your eyes learn the habit of noticing what supports you. You name those supports and they grow stronger. Aiming becomes a quiet act of devotion to your own becoming. The road ahead looks like a promise kept. Not by accident, not by chance, by alignment and grace. You are inside the keptness and it feels like peace. Everything that needed to be heard has reached you. You heard it and you are answering with your life. Your answer is clear, steady and kind. 888 You close your eyes and feel the new map settle into place. Every line on the map corresponds to a muscle that is ready. Readiness warms your limbs and steadies your breath. The day places a crown on your patience. It is light on your head and heavy with meaning. Meaning gathers the right people to witness. A final signature is added to a blessing already in motion. The ink dries the moment it touches. No smudges, no delays, only completion. You realize that the promise was never fragile. It was simply maturing while you learned how to carry it. Now you carry it with ease that honors the journey. 999 The next room opens and the light is familiar. It feels like the sunrise you were always meant to meet. You step in with the certainty that you belong. Your heart sets down the last small stone it was holding. Hands free you reach for what is yours. What is yours reaches back with joy. The path does not end, it widens. Widening makes space for your new strength. Strength bows to tenderness and both remain. This continuation seals what began with urgency and now rests in assurance. You are safely inside the massive change you were promised. The change loves you enough to last. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $1.20. The road ahead feels freshly paved, as if the earth listened overnight and decided to smooth itself beneath your steps. You walk and the horizon cooperates, widening like a curtain that finally remembers how to open. Even your breath sounds different, carrying a timbre that tells the room you are done surviving and ready to live. You touch the places that once ached and find them quiet, dignified, and no longer defensive. What stayed tense for years becomes flexible without breaking its shape. Strength chooses softness as its companion, and the two travel well together. The documents of your destiny arrive in a neat stack, already stamped and sealed. You sign with a hand that does not tremble, and the ink dries the moment it touches the page. Completion behaves like warm light across a table where your name is centerpiece. Messages that could not find you before have precise directions now. They walk in through the front door like welcome relatives carrying good news in both arms. You introduce them to your future. And everyone recognizes everyone. 111. The calendar no longer argues with your capacity. It aligns itself the way stores align when the night is honest. You fill your hours with work that feeds you back, and the balance holds. Old alarms resign with quiet professionalism and hand you their badges. You thank them for their service and escort them to the edge of town. The sirens fade and are replaced by a river that keeps time without stealing it. Conversations that once strained you now deliver power with accuracy. Words fall into places that can hold them, and nothing spills. You speak without performing, and truth answers in a voice you trust. You sit in the chair that fits your stature instead of shrinking for the small seat. The room adjusts, not you, and the air learns your rhythm. Fit becomes your baseline and peace stops feeling like a borrowed coat. 222. The door you needed opens with manners, not drama. It was waiting for your exact knock, and you finally knocked like you meant it. A corridor of possibility lights itself one step at a time, and you do not rush. You carry your name like a passport that never expires. Every border recognizes its authority, and you cross without interrogation. Your arrival becomes a pattern, not an accident. Your house of courage adds a balcony, and the view tells the truth gently. You look out and see the shape of a life that fits. It does not beg for applause, it breathes and invites. Provision shows up in forms that match your integrity. It does not lure, it confirms. You accept without apology and the ground nods. 333. A letter of relief travels your spine and reorganizes how you stand. Your back remembers its original design and refuses to carry what is not yours. Burden bows and exits with respect, leaving space for breath to bloom. You greet the morning like a friend who kept their promise. The light arrives on time and chooses your face without hesitation. Warmth moves into the corners and the corners become windows. You do not chase, you call. You do not plead, you agree. Agreement has a gravity that pulls right things into orbit. A softness rests on your shoulders that does not mean weakness. It is the softness of a door that opens on the first try. You pass through and the threshold remembers your feet. 444 patterns that used to hide in plain sight step forward and introduce themselves. You learn their names, thank them for the lessons, and retire the ones that no longer serve. Space appears where noise once shouted, and your focus sharpens like a well-kept blade. Time honors you by arriving as usefulness. Even the pauses become fertile, growing answers in quiet soil. You harvest without haste and the baskets do not break. The map unrolls with routes that respect your nervous system. No sharp corners for the sake of spectacle, only exact turns that make sense. You take them and find yourself precisely where you belong. Support arrives with tools instead of speeches. Hands lift with you, not at you, and the work becomes choir instead of solo. Harmony takes the lead and carries the heavy and glandly. 555. You review your story and notice the edits destiny already made. Scenes that once bruised now instruct with kindness. What felt like detours reveal themselves as training grounds that fitted your stride, your yes as a stein and you know as a smile. Both are honored by the life you are building. The results show up as calm that lasts after the applause, energy returns like rain to fields that never gave up waiting. Green rises from places you feared were finite. You walk through and hear the quiet thunder of gratitude. The names you needed to remember for good reasons come back at the right time. They arrive with clarity, not chaos. Alignment organizes introductions that become doors. 666 sounds become your most trusted argoti. Inside it, rooms design themselves with windows placed for truth and rest. You walk from room to room and nothing asks you to shrink. The last remnants of counterfeit urgency dissolve at your feet. Real urgency moves like accuracy, not panic. Accuracy chooses your hands because they are steady now. You give thanks in a way that adds weight to what matters and removes weight from what doesn't. Thanks turns into a keyring that never loses the important keys. Every lock you meet is a lock you were built to open. Peace proves its strength by staying during momentum. It does not fall off when speed increases. It rides with you, seatbelt on, eyes bright, utterly unafraid. 777 Your reflection cooperates with your future's expectations. It shows the face that is ready, not the one that is rehearsing. Ready is quieter than you imagined and stronger than you hoped. Opportunities are no longer auditions for your worth. They are collaborations with your purpose. You accept them like handshakes between equals. The seasons of your life coordinate instead of colliding. Spring does not fight winter, it understands the relay. Everything passes the baton cleanly and your stride never stutters. You are seen accurately by those who can help and those who can heal. Visibility no longer feels like exposure. It feels like belonging. Belonging stabilizes and your next steps sound like certainty. 888 You close loops that have asked politely for years. Closure lands with soft authority and no debris. What ends bows and what begins steps forward with welcome. Your inner weather chooses a climate that nurtures growth. Fortis stop offending and start guiding. You dress in wisdom instead of fear and the day fits. The ground rises to meet your pace at every corner. Corners stop being surprises and become choreography. You move with grace that does not need an audience. Provisions match your honesty line by line. Nothing slips through because the net is woven of integrity. You eat and are satisfied and generosity stays at the table. 999 The orchestra of your life tunes to a pitch that calms the room. Strings settle, brass breathes, percussion waits for the exact cue. When the downbeat comes, everything knows where to be. Your name travels ahead of you like a gentle herald. He opens gates without noise and invites welcome without demand. You enter and the space feels as if it has been practicing your rival. Work becomes devotion and devotion becomes ease. Ease is not absence of effort. It is effort aligned. Aligned effort multiplies results and protects your joy. You put a hand on the day and feel the day put a hand on you. Two steady pulses keep time without competing. That shared rhythm becomes your new normal. 444 If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $1.20. The day steadies you like a hand at the small of your back. You step and the floor agrees in a language older than fear. Every breath feels like a contact signed by courage and kept by grace. The old echo that used to follow your name has learned a kinder note. It no longer drags the room toward shadows that do not serve you. It travels forward, clean and bright, like a bell in clear air. You gather the fragments you once mistook for flaws and see their pattern. They were tiles waiting to become a mosaic with your story at the center. Derangement is honest and honesty glows without shouting. A calm precision moves into your hours and draws good boundaries. It organizes your energy like a master gardener with patient hands. What is planted now will not be bulleted by weather. 111 You notice that help appears before strain can accumulate. The right hands reach the heavy end without being pulled twice. Relief becomes a rhythm and the rhythm holds. Rooms that once demanded performance now request presence. Presence answers with a steady spine and a gentle mouth. You sit and the chair feels designed for your exact weight. The corridor ahead is lined with doors that open at your pace. A door rushes to impress you. None refuses your approach. You pick the one that hums with recognition and the hinge bows. Provision starts, behaving like a fact instead of a rumor. It arrives on time with receipts and a smile that does not ask for applause. You accept and the acceptance stabilizes the table. 222 You release the final habit of apologizing for being ready. Readiness is not arrogance. It is alignment with the hour. Lying hours multiply results without exhausting the heart. Your voice knows which notes to sing and which to retire. It chooses clarity over volume and lands where trust can hold it. Every word plants a seed that plans to stay through winter. The path no longer negotiates with doubt. It keeps to the center, measured and sure. Doubt wanders off in search of a stage that will not be found here. You sense the soft acceleration of a destiny that is done waiting. It does not yank you forward. It inclines the ground, your stride lengthens and ease keeps up. 333 A new chapter lays itself across your lap like a warm blanket. Its edges are finished. Its threads are strong. Its pattern is kind. You tuck it around your waist and stand taller. What once pretended to be urgent fades to the background. Real urgency speaks quietly and only when necessary. You obey it without adrenaline, just clean resolve. Your calendar is now a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Appointments honor your nervous system and your purpose. You leave each one more whole than you entered. The message is meant for you continue to arrive without static. They choose playing doors, friendly knocks and honest timing. You open with gratitude that does not tremble. 444 Memory chooses to be a teacher rather than a warden. It hands you lessons without shackles. You take them and the classroom turns into a garden. A clear line runs through your choices like a sturdy spine. It keeps your posture, your plans, and your peace in agreement. Agreement makes you strong without making you hard. People who belong to your future meet you at natural intersections. They carry tools, not gossip, and they know how to listen. Listening builds bridges faster than noise ever built walls. You let go of the last small negotiation with self-doubt. Self-doubt packs its things and leaves a forwarding address you will not need. Silence moves into its room and lights a candle. 555 You bless your pace and your pace blesses your results. Nothing good is lost to hurry. Nothing necessary is delayed by fear, work begins to feel like devotion braided with craft. Hands remember how to be skillful without being frantic. Skill invites provision to sit down and stay, your sleep repairs more than it rehearses. Dreams shift from warning to instruction. You wake with sentences that know where to go, the house of your courage updates its foundation. Weather can come and weather can go, but the house stands. Windows stay clear, doors swing true, floors hold. 666 You choose softness that is not fragile and strength that is not cruel. They pair well and refuse to compete. Together they build rooms where truth feels at home, old permissions crumble, replaced by accurate authority. Authority speaks in first person and does not need a microphone. Its tone is steady and it plants trust in every ear. Your name is welcome in places that once stalled your entry. The welcome feels earned because it is. You sit and the seat remembers your measure, a steady wind lines up at your back and offers partnership. You accept and the road stops feeling uphill. Distance closes with surprising kindness. 777 The light inside your chest learns to stay on during motion. It does not flicker when you accelerate. It illuminates without glare and protects your view. Commitments rearrange themselves into a constellation. You see how each point joins another with purpose. The pattern is generous and strong. What needed to end has ended with dignity. What needed to begin has begun with joy. Endings and beginnings shake hands and wish each other well. You taste the relief of consistency that does not require perfection. Consistency builds trust brick by brick. The wall it builds is a garden wall, not a prison. 888 You accept the ease that comes from right fit. Right fit allows focus to go deeper without burning out. Depth produces fruit that tastes like peace. A gentle boldness begins to favor your decisions. Boldness is not noise, it is accuracy with a backbone. Each move respects your spirit and your future. You do what you said you would and the day agrees to help. Agreements multiply like lamps along a path at dusk. Light continues past the band where you used to hesitate. Silence refills you between tasks like a clear spring. One drink is enough to carry the next mile. Miles add up to a journey that loves you back. 999 Your capacity expands without tearing. It grows like a ring on a tree that tells a story of rain and endurance. The growth is real and it is kind. You return the last bar of weight that never belonged to you. Hands free, you hold the work that does. The work fits your grip and your gift. The future arrives with fewer surprises and more confirmations. Confirmation is the courtesy of timing done well. It arrives with a smile and a checklist already complete. A final alignment clicks into place behind your heart. The click is quiet and decisive. After it, even the air feels correctly measured. 111 You harvest the fields you planted in long patience. The yield is honest, abundant, and unashamed. You do not hoard, you steward. Messages that began as urgency now close as assurance. They settle into the furniture of your days. Chairs sit deeper, lamps glow warmer, rooms hum with safety. You recognize the voice that keeps choosing you. It hath been faithful and now it is loud enough to lead. You follow and nothing inside you argues. The door of the next season stands open in daylight. You walk through without ceremony that drains you. Peace holds the frame and joy oils the hinge. 222 The last shadow that mistook itself for guide bows and leaves. You thank it for the training it accidentally provided. It vanishes into a horizon where it belongs. Presence collects your attention into one bright beam. That beam finds work worth doing and people worth loving. The work and the people answer back with truth. Your feet memorize the sound of the path that fits. It is a low music that respects your bones. That music is now your baseline. You are not always there anymore. You are here, and here is generous. Here is large enough to hold your gift and your rest. 333 A new generosity moves through your calendar like spring through a city. It touches everything and leaves color where it passes. Color stays and becomes part of the map. You extend gratitude forward as a habit, not a performance. Gratitude changes the texture of time. Time responds by becoming kinder. Your reflection practices a new posture until it feels natural. Posture becomes presence and presence becomes power. Power stays quiet and effective. The corridor narrows only when focus is needed. When the lesson lands, it widens again. The widening feels like being trusted. 444 You review the ledger of your efforts and see balance. Debts to yourself are paid in steady installments of attention. Attention keeps the lights on in the rooms that matter. Peace wants a visitor, signs a long lease. It decorates the house with breathable colors. Guests arrive and remark on the air. You no longer audition for spaces that do not honor you. You invest in spaces that do. Those investments compound in ways math understands and magic admires. Your nights carry repair and your mornings carry clarity. Clarity keeps you from spending energy you do not have. What you spend returns with interest named joy. 555 You add soft rituals that make the day cooperate. They are small, faithful, and strong like well-made hinges. Doors move because hinges do their quiet job. Support meets you without fanfare in the places you once braced alone. Your body recognizes safety and releases its old alarms. Release becomes a practice that keeps multiplying. The map for the next mile arrives in simple lines. Simplicity is not lack. It is wisdom. You follow and arrive without losing yourself. The circle that began with urgent announcement now closes with calm completion. Completion hums like a well-tuned engine. It promises longevity without promise. 666 What began as a countdown is now a cadence you can live inside. Cadence holds your attention without stealing your breath. You move and the movement is music. Opportunities keep knocking with the manners of good guests. You open the door to the ones that match your truth. Truth sets tables that always have enough chairs. You put your hands on the work and the work recognizes you. Ignition removes friction from the gears. Gears turn and progress becomes quiet and continuous. Nothing urgent is missing. Nothing fragile is required. Everything essential has arrived. 777 The sky above your plans is clear. Clouds travel without forming storms you do not need. Light finds your windows and keeps its appointment. You give your yes to what will still make sense a year from now. Futures respond by opening rooms you have not seen. Those rooms smell like fresh paint and honest beginnings. You bless the road that bore you through difficult passages. Blessing returns is strength that stays, the staying becomes rest even while you move. The music of alignment plays under conversations and tasks. It keeps the keys stable and the tempo kind, you dance without leaving your chair. 888 The threshold of this chapter has learned your footsteps. You can leave and return without losing ground, ground holds you with the confidence of home. You accept that joy is not a rare visitor but a resident. It pays rent on time and helps with the dishes, you smile because this is how you wanted to live. The closing pages write themselves with ink that does not smear. They record your yes in lines that will age well, the record is accurate and generous. What was promised has matured into presence. Presence turns into practice, practice turns into a life that fits. 999 If you wish to express your support further.